Barcelona lose to Rayo Vallecano 1-0 at the Camp Nou. And the way that I am going to be approaching this video is that I'm not going to be editing anything. I'm just going to be talking to the mic, and then I'm just going to be posting this on YouTube, and then, we'll just move forward from there. Like, I have no motivation to be editing. I have no motivation on trying to make like a very well done video today, because it's just, if Barcelona is not going to be trying on the field, then why should I try, right? That's like my overall feeling coming away from this game. It's just, I feel like this season needs to be over as soon as possible because of the way that Barcelona is going. It is just not going to be good enough. I just feel like we can't win any games. Like, for example, Barcelona just lost their third home game in a row for the first time in their history, right? In their history. And so I just do not know what's going on with this team. I do not know if it's lack of motivation, lack of like physical readiness. Like, I have no idea. There's so many things that could be going on right now that is going wrong, but it's just right now Barcelona are doing so horrible that we can't even win our own games at home. And so what we are going to be doing within this video is that I am going to be talking about what did happen in the first half and in the second half. There are many things that did frustrate me that had nothing to do with Barcelona players. It did have to do with the ref, and I'm going to be explaining the ref's performance and his like professionalism within this game by the end of this video. So going into the first half, Barcelona knew what they needed to do. They knew that they needed to create opportunities, but they didn't, right? Like, whatever they were trying to do, it did not play out in the end for Barcelona. Like, for example, on the 7th minute, Rayo Vallecano got their first goal. They scored the first goal. It's a very typical goal that Barcelona has conceded. Like, for example, Barcelona were compact on the left flank. They had players like Ferran Torres, Xavi, Busquets, Ronald Araujo, Frankie de Jong, all defending that left flank. And so because Rayo Vallecano read that well, they saw how many players were on the left side. They're like, okay, I'm just going to switch the ball. I see that player sneaking in that run right next to Serginho Dest, and I'm going to pass it towards that area. And so that is exactly what did happen. The one player, our right back, Serginho Dest, did fall asleep yet again for like the second time in a row. Very similar to what did happen in the game against Frankfurt. He slept. He did not know that player was running. The player from Rayo Vallecano was running to that area, that open space. He received the ball and he scored the goal very easily. It was just Serginho Dest yet again failed to man mark this player. Exactly like how it did end up with in the game against Frankfurt. And so he arrived late, and that is why Rayo Vallecano did score the first goal. And because of that, these goals are becoming so typical. And what I mean by like these goals becoming so typical, I mean like these are the type of goals that kill Barcelona. They kill Barcelona. They kill Barcelona's confidence, the mentality of these players. These players, they question, they're like, okay, they scored first, are we even going to win this game? Like, what should we do? Oh my god, what's our plan B? Like, we just lose confidence in ourselves. And so like, if anything, like the first thing that we should be doing like by the time we go into our first training session after this match, like tomorrow in the morning, right, in about a couple of hours, the first thing that we need to start doing is learning how to communicate with each other. Learn how to communicate defensively. Like, learn how to say, hey, go man mark this player, I'll go here, you go there, and blah blah blah, right? Like, there was a you can just get a sense that within that moment when they conceded that goal there was a lack of leadership, an extreme lack of leadership. That is one of the reasons on why we saw Gerard Piqué warm up in the last 45 minutes of the first half. Like, we saw him warm up because Xavi knew that there needed to be leadership within that defensive line, because what we saw in that moment was everybody to themselves and we hope for the best. That is basically what did happen. And so I don't even know where to begin, because I don't want to lie to you guys and say that Barcelona were trying their best to go for this type of idea, this type of style, because I felt like there was no idea, there was no style. I just felt like everyone went in there and they're like, okay, like, when is this game going to be over? I just want the season to be over, because nobody was trying. Like, these players were not playing together. There was no unity. There was no like sense of collectiveness. And we saw so many misplaced passes coming from Ferran Torres, Aubameyang. Frankie did not understand what his teammates were trying to do. And I felt like throughout this game, I'm like, this is going to come down towards one man, and that is Xavi Hernandez. Like, he is responsible for not having his players play as a collective. He is responsible for not having these players react well enough and good enough in the situation that we are in. Like, I know, like, I know that many are going to be attacking Frankie de Jong, Aubameyang, Ferran Torres, but they just did not look like they were motivated. And there's so many reasons on why we should be motivated based off our situation right now. Like Xavi Hernandez needs to do a better job on that, and especially within the time that we are in within this season. And so, when it comes to like me saying that these players lacked motivation, let me give you guys like an example. Aubameyang and Ferran Torres, like, we see these players all the time, right? Since the beginning of this year, back on January 21st, when they first came to Barcelona, we saw them, like, their main idea was to always dismark themselves. They get away from defenders and they run to space and they look for the goal. And that is basically their game. That is what they are good at. But in this game tonight against Rayo Vallecano, they did not do not a single thing. They did not look interested at all. They were never dismarking themselves from the defenders. They were not making runs. And so the only real good player going up against Rayo Vallecano, it was only Xavi. Xavi was the only one that had the work ethic. He was the only one that made the interceptions, that created chances for Barcelona. He was the only one that had the real fighting spirit. His fighting spirit was above all of his teammates. Ferran Torres looked non-interested. Aubameyang looked non-interested. Frankie did not look interested. Busquets looked not interested. Like, many of these players did not look like they wanted to even be there. Xavi, on the other hand, he reacts to the situation. He shows, right? He shows that he wants to look for the 1-1 tie, right? And he deserved a goal. He deserved an assist. He almost actually scored within the first half. Like, he really wanted that goal. But none of these other players looked interested at all. Like, I'm being very, very serious. Like, that is the thing that kind of like tenses me the most. I'm trying my very best to not like go into like a rant and not get too angry and like scream on the mic. I'm trying to be very calm. I'm trying to be very I'm trying to assess the situation, try to understand maybe this could be the reason on why these players were performing like this. And so I'm just going to keep it calm for this video. It's just the one thing that I'm not going to do is edit this video or even try, right? And so we go into the second half and things have changed. We have seen Lenglet coming in for Serginho Dest, and so we're like, okay, things are changing. Maybe Xavi Hernandez is not happy with Serginho Dest's performance. It makes sense because of that ridiculous mistake that he did make earlier in the first half. So I'm like, okay, things are going to be changing. But if anything, in the second half, it only got worse. It got worse in the second half. And there were many reports about Xavi Hernandez saying that he was pissed at Serginho Dest. Like, if one player is going to make a difference, right? Because in the second half, we played even worse. No player was reacting. It was a very, like, stalled game. It looked very gray. There was no movement, no motivation, no energy. I had no idea why these players are performing in this way. And like I did say, like a couple of minutes ago, there's enough of a reason for these players to fight for this game, to give it their all. Like, we're at the Camp Nou, you're playing in front of your own fans. We're in second place and we have to defend our second place, or else Sevilla is going to be taking our spot. The best players, right, they were on that pitch tonight. They were there. Like, we had our best starting 11, and please don't tell me that the one player that we were missing in order for us to play well was Pedri, right? Because I know that Pedri does make a huge difference for Barcelona, but that can't be like a excuse for us to play bad. That's not an excuse. We're not Real Madrid. We're not going to be a team like Real Madrid where we say, oh, we play bad because we did not have Benzema, right? We're not Pedri FC. For Real Madrid, they're not Benzema FC, they're Real Madrid. Barcelona right now, we need to stand for what we are. We're Barcelona, we're FC Barcelona. We're not Pedri FC, we're not FC Pedri, right? So that can't be an excuse. I don't want anyone saying that, oh, well, the only reason why we play bad is because Pedri is our glue. No, like, excuses. Those are excuses. You're going to tell me that Frankie and Xavi and Busquets are not good enough? Really? You're going to tell me that Dembele, Aubameyang, and Ferran Torres can't score not a single goal against Rayo Vallecano at the Camp Nou? Are you serious right now? Like, that's not an excuse, right? So I knew that this game was going to end like in this specific way. Like, we see this all the time. I knew that in the last 5 to 7 to 8 minutes, we're going to give it our all. We're finally going to look like we're trying. All of our chances are going to be compact within those last 5 to 10 minutes. But like, why react so late? Like, why is that always the game plan? Why can't we just react like this in the very beginning of this game? And so Xavi Hernandez made some substitutions. He put in Memphis and Nico on the 61st minute. He put Luke de Jong and Adama Traoré on the 70th minute. And I remember when these subs came in, which is very consistent, right? These consistent subs about Adama and Luke coming in at the same time, that cannot be a good sign. That is always considered as a plan B. It's a plan B because it basically means that we're just going to cross our way towards a goal. Every time Luke and Adama comes in, you know the game plan. When you see Dembele going in on the left wing and Adama on the right and Luke in the center, we knew exactly what was going to happen. We knew that we were going to cross our way towards having our chances, because the main problem that we had through this first half and in the second half was that our midfielders were not efficient. There's a reason why we saw Frankie de Jong be subbed out, and seeing Frankie furious coming out, not even smiling, not looking at the fans. The fans were trying to cheer him up, but Frankie was furious. He was mad because he knew that he really did not give anything in tonight's match. And so in the last 10 minutes, it was like the most annoying 10 minutes that I have ever seen in my entire life, right? We're just going to fast forward towards the very last 10 to 15 minutes of the second half. We saw players from Rayo Vallecano wasting time. There was this one player that looks like Angelino's brother. I do believe his name is Palazon. I think that's his name, but he's that one guy that has no hair. That guy right there, like, I remember that moment where he was on the ground, he was complaining that he was hit because Luke de Jong was doing a bicycle kick. He hit his head and then he was on the ground, and then he was just basically complaining, acting like he was dying, like he needs medical help and blah blah blah, right? So right now we're in that moment where it is one of the most annoying times ever. So this was a moment where I'm like, okay, I know exactly where Rayo's going to go with. They're going to go and they're going to say, okay, every time a player hits me, I'm just going to be on the ground for about 5 to 10 minutes and waste as much time as possible. But when it came to this moment specifically, this was like peak moment, peak annoying moment in the last 10 minutes. The moment this player got up, right, this player named Palazon, the moment he got up and he got off the field, he ran all the way back, like if everything was okay, to be subbed back in, which basically showed you that the only reason why he was even in the ground in the first place is because he wanted to waste time. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, this is what Rayo want to do, right? They're not classy, right? They're not professional. They just want to do this because they just want to get this 1-0 win and go home. That's it. They don't want to play the game. They don't want to play against us. And then we fast forward a couple minutes later, we saw Xavi bodying some players, and then the ref saying, "Oh, that's foul. You can't do that, Xavi. You can't body that." Like when this is football. This is what football is. You body players. You try to fight for the ball. But according to this ridiculous ref, he wants to say that this is a foul. But then, like about 2 or 3 minutes later, on the 89th minute, when Xavi himself gets bodied by some defender from Rayo Vallecano inside the box, you know what the ref said? He said, "Oh, this is not a foul. I'm not even going to check VAR. No, the defender from Rayo is not even going to get a yellow card. It was not even a foul." So I'm like, ref, are you contradicting yourself? Like, can you make up your mind? Like, what do you consider something being like someone being bodied? You really thought that what Xavi did against that player was a foul? You really think that when the exact same thing happened to himself, to Xavi inside the box, that should have been a penalty? I don't get it. Like, this ref that we saw was atrocious. He was horrible. And excuse me for being so like unprofessional and speaking in this way, but some things just do have to be said. The ref and his performance on tonight was horrible. You might as well just quit your profession. And so many things went on in this second half, right? And I know I probably missed some things, but this was like the peak of like the most annoying moment within this game. Like, yes, these players play bad. Yes, Xavi got his tactics wrong. But the peak moment, right, the most annoying moment was when the ref was making these ridiculous calls in the last 10 to 12 minutes. The ref did not know what he was doing. My only good take that I have going away from this game is going to be that Memphis Depay played like a brilliant player on the left flank. It shows you that Memphis Depay does deserve to play as a left winger because he was playing amazing on that left side. But that's basically it. I can't really say nothing more. Xavi was obviously the best player for Barcelona overall within the two halves, and that's it. Like, I have nothing else to say. Barcelona, again, they broke a bad record, which is to lose 10 games in a row at the Camp Nou. We look at the table, and I'm looking over here, and I'm seeing that Barcelona is still in second place, but we are tied in points with Sevilla with 63 points. We're going to have to win every game moving forward. We should not even be in this position. Like, we should be like 3 points above Sevilla right now, but no. Right, that's to the players. They don't see this. The players, they don't see where Barcelona's at. They don't know where, if they're in second place or in third place. They don't know how big of a margin they are between Sevilla and Barcelona. Right, themselves. They don't even know if Real Madrid is in first place. Right, because it doesn't seem like that's what they're thinking on the field. And so that is how I'm going to be wrapping up today's Barcelona video. Sorry for my toxic trait. Sorry for my pessimism and stuff like that. Like, I'm really sorry. I love you guys. You guys know I love you guys, but this is just the state that Barcelona's in, and I hope that this season does wrap up as soon as possible and we just forget about it and start all over, like, gracefully, right? The right way next season with Xavi Hernandez doing the preseasons and everything, right? We need that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.